Subhanallah, what a day. Today we have witnessed victory in the face of unimaginable injustice. The jury failed to convict my daughter Fatima Zainab and the other 5 defendants of any charges brought against them. They had felt morally compelled to dismantle weapons that were going to be used to kill innocent civilians, including children, in a live-streamed genocide in Gaza. This act of courage should be celebrated, and the day is today. But the way our loved ones have been policed and prosecuted was brutal and unprecedented. They were arrested by counter-terror police, held incommunicado in solitary confinement for up to a week. The United Nations declared this treatment as enforced disappearance. The UN condemned the unjustified use of UK counter-terror laws against the Filton 24. These arrests began as a test case to see how the expansion of terrorism legislation could be used to protect Israeli military business in Britain, most specifically of Elbit Systems, Israel's largest arms manufacturer. This is the first time Britain has attempted to equate property damage with terrorism, setting a dangerous precedent. They were charged with completely unprecedented charges: aggravated burglary, described as overkill by the defense team. There was zero evidence that they planned violence or the use of weapons. My daughter Fatima Zainab and her co-defendants should have received bail, but in a gross abuse of power and use of counter-terror measures, she has been denied bail 3 times so far, and the 6 have been imprisoned for 547 days today, without being convicted of any crime. This is well beyond the legal limit of 6 months. Each of the defendants had no previous convictions, no previous arrests or charges. They should never have been in prison for this long. The state used the punishment as the process, and now I can finally take my daughter home today. During the trial, the prosecution did not dispute that the 6 defendants believed that Elbit's role, or what Elbit's role in Israel's genocide was. When Fatima Zainab gave evidence, she was asked about her engagement with Palestine. She spoke of going to peace rallies for Palestine in her teenage years, as well as being part of her university encampment, Goldsmiths University, and participating in national marches and demos since the genocide started. She said she kept seeing endless images from Gaza and decided to do more. On the stand, Fatima Zainab confirmed that her intention was to dismantle weapons and decommission the site, and that she recorded the inside of the factory to expose Elbit Systems' complicity in the genocide and other companies enabling genocide. The brutal and unprecedented response to their action has exposed the true values of this government. This government is determined to do business with Israel and protect its weapons industry at any cost. Our loved ones dared to poke this beast, and no expense has been spared in policing, prosecuting, and imprisoning them without trial for so long. Imagine if the government had put the same amount of money, resources, and political will into preventing a genocide. We're so grateful that ordinary members of the public, the jury, delivering the verdict, and monumental victory for my daughter and all of the Filton 24. And I would just like to say a massive, massive thank you to every single one of you for all the hearts that have turned towards the movement, for all the hands that have been raised in prayer for us, for all the voices that spoke out for the justice of the Filton 24. Thank you so much. It is with your love and your support that we see the victory that we do today.
Thank you. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out and being here with us today. Is that better now? Yeah. Okay. So, the Filton 6 who are on the inside, they were victorious the moment they chose to go in to the Albit factory. They were victorious when they were arrested. They were victorious the entire time they spent inside the prison, and they are victorious today as a jury has acquitted them on the most significant charge and found that it cannot convict them on all the other charges. Today is a vindication. It is a vindication of them, and it is a vindication of this entire movement. That direct action is not a random act of violence. It is part of a constellation of actions to end the ongoing genocide, and direct action is and will continue to be part of this movement. A jury of our peers has understood that these actions against a genocidal regime can never be understood as a criminal act. That is significant. It is significant because this genocide is still the center of this issue, that a settler colonial apartheid state still continues to exist in this world, and our government continues to support that settler colonial apartheid state, despite everything that international law purportedly says. This case is significant as there were difficulties for the defendants to represent themselves fully. The police arrested them under counter-terrorism powers and held them incommunicado for a week and refused to grant them bail. The judge in the case consistently interrupted the barristers and the defendants, stopping them from mentioning the role of Elbit Systems throughout. Elbit Systems, an Israeli weapons manufacturer that continues to be involved in the killing of Palestinians as part of the Israeli genocide every single day.
Shame on the judge!
Cage International has been documenting how juries have been representing the authentic view of the British public, that they continually refuse to convict in these types of cases, the vast majority of cases, over 90% of them, where direct action has taken place, juries are looking not at what the action of what these actionists are doing, they're looking at the actions of a genocidal state and saying not guilty. They're saying we refuse, as a jury of your peers, to be involved in this ongoing genocide. That is crucial. This judge has said that in this case, if a defendant felt morally justified in doing what they did to prevent what they thought was a genocide, then that would not amount to a lawful excuse. That was the judge's view. Even though even though the defendants were caught inside a weapons manufacturer having smashed up their drones, still they were acquitted. And this is significant because criminal damage was used as part of the justification for prescribing Palestine action. So our call today must be, especially after this victory, this government must deprescribe Palestine action. The remaining 18 must be released. We must commit to continue fighting until all are free. And that we must ensure that it is not in the public interest for the remaining charges to be retried. And I thank you all for all your love and solidarity over these long, hard months, and my love to the families, and especially the 6 inside and the 18 who we wait to see their release.
Final few words from the Fulham 24 Defence Committee, and then I'll update on bail and those what you can expect next. So, final comments that we cannot make clear enough. Yvette Cooper and Keir Starmer took evidence in this case out of context and broadcast it on televisions and across tabloids across this country. And they did that to justify banning Palestine action under terrorism laws.
Propaganda!
What that did was completely compromise these 6 young people's chances and use them as political pawns in the global arms trade. But now, by the Labour government's own logic then, now that a court of law have found that the actions against Elbit Systems that night were reasonable, we should all expect Shabana Mahmood to do the reasonable thing herself and the only logical thing next and lift the ban on Palestine action! It is time for the British state to accept that the movement for a liberated Palestine has been and will continue to be justified. And let's not get it twisted. This same state and its legacy will one day claim that these activists were part of England's righteous history, won't they? Yeah? So let this be clear now. The strength of these individuals was modelled on the regular Palestinian dignity and will. It was the antithesis of the overwhelming cowardice we have seen in Parliament for 2 years. There are still 18 more defendants imprisoned across the UK in connection with this case, and they're being held under joint enterprise. So joint enterprise is a principle that is synonymous with the racist policing of young black men in this country. Right? It's a means of taking control of the maximum number of citizens they can narratively get away with. That's what joint enterprise is. So joint enterprise in this case means that all 24 defendants, except Sam with his extra charge, all 24 defendants have the same 3 charges, whether they're being accused of being present or not. So, since the defendants here were found not guilty of the most serious charge of aggravated burglary, which is described in the law as breaking into property with an item intended to cause harm to another person. Right? So we can reasonably deduce from that the jury agreed that items taken into that warehouse were not malicious. No. They were tools used to dismantle and neutralize Elbit's weapons. So, if the first 6, who were the only ones the prosecution ever argued entered the factory, and now they've been found not guilty of aggravated burglary, the next step, surely, is to drop that charge for the remaining 18 co-defendants and grant bail immediately. And we and the thousands upon thousands of people who I mentioned earlier will not rest until that happens. So Lottie, Ellie, Fatima Zainab, Jordan and Zoe will be coming home today. That does mean that we have one of the defendants who is not coming home today. Sam has been denied bail. But I'd like to tell you that he left the courtroom with his fist raised high and a smile on his face. So 5 defendants will be coming out of those doors today. But they will not be doing press interviews today. So we'll be taking interview requests for media who want to do interviews with them, and this is the email address that you will need if you want to contact us to speak to the defendants. It is the Filton 2424 defense@proton.me. Just find myself or just find me, leave these guys alone. Find me and I'll tell you that again if you need it. Okay, so we will now take questions from the press. Please do state the outlet that you're reporting from before asking your question. I'll ask for 3 and then we'll decide which ones who can answer which, and then we'll move on for another 3. Any questions?
Well, we have the BBC here.
And I can't also see for the light, so.
Police presence is undeniable today!
Oh, I know that voice.
Was that a question?
No.
I mean, that was something else, wasn't it? Yeah. Do we have any questions from the press right now? Yes.
Kristen Flintoff show. Wondering, are you able to say about potential seeking compensation for the wrongful imprisonment?
No, we can't talk about that now. There is still there's a hung jury on a number of the charges, so we can't talk about that now. But what I will say is, reiterate again, that this can only go to retrial if it is in the public interest. That means we are all now, everybody here, has a role to play in ensuring it is crystal clear that that is not in the public interest. That's what I say on that.
We are the public.
Yeah, Real Media, hello. Volante, are there any plans to push for charges against him or to perhaps even do a private prosecution?
No. Again, sorry, we're not going to be able to speak about that just now. As well. Just the hung jury on a lot of these, a number of these charges, just make it a little bit more difficult. Any other questions?
Can I have a soppy question?
Yeah.
What are the mums going to make for their kids for the first meal when they get in? I know it's soppy, but...
She actually wants to cook for herself.
I'll be taking Fatima Zainab to her grandparents for dinner.
Zoe has kind of asked me not to cook because she knows what my cooking is like. But what I'm most excited about is I've completely refurnished her room, and she's going to be reunited with her cat, Geronimo.
The more questions from the media?
That was the best media coverage ever.
Any more? No. Okay. So,
yeah, can I have a question?
Okay, yes.
Forget all of that.
Instagram. I was just going to ask, what are they going to what are they going to do to celebrate?
Shakshuka party!
I don't know if Asi knows this, but his wife has invited all of us to dinner at some point in the near future.
It's only my wife. My kids have been telling my wife. In fact, it's you wish him a happy birthday. It's my 50-year-old birthday today. And I asked him how he was going to celebrate. He said, I don't care about celebrating. I just want to be there with the family.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Oh, embarrassing, Dad.
What can the public do to provide ongoing support?
well, that question was, what can the public do to provide ongoing support? There is still 18 more prisoners. We are only kind of at the first stage of success here. It doesn't mean we don't pause to celebrate, but let's do that for the rest of today, and tomorrow let's wake up and free the rest of the 18 prisoners. Okay, if there's no more questions, we will be hanging around. Let's do some chanting, let's celebrate together, and let's wait to see if they're going to be going out. Alright, if anybody does want to interview any of the family members, can you please just come to me over here first? I'll direct you to them. Thank you!
See you,